Welcome to ABG, Asian Boss Girl, a podcast for the modern day Asian American woman. My name is Mel.
I'm Helen.
And I'm Janet.
Welcome back to another episode of ABG. This is actually our last episode of season 4.
Oh my gosh.
Dang.
46 episodes.
It's crazy because I remember being in the hotel room recording for the start of season 4.
Yeah.
That seems like a long time ago.
It feels like yesterday to me.
Really?
Yeah.
Actually, to think about
feels-
like the first time we started this podcast, maybe like 3 years ago now? 2 years?
I think it's only 2 years.
2 years?
2 years, but we started talking about it and planning like 3 years ago.
Yeah.
That's crazy
Yeah.
to me.
And here we are, end of season 4.
Right? Oh my
Nuts.
gosh.
So this episode is going to be about assumptions. This is Saturday, July 27th right now. And we just hosted an Instagram live. Got a lot of assumptions from you all. There's about 2 pages full. So we're going to try and answer these and go through them as much as we can. There's a good amount here. And we will end with a Dare ABG section.
Let's talk a little bit about why we decided to do an assumptions video. I think a lot of you guys, thankfully stuck with us for 4 seasons. You guys, heard about our stories and our journeys. And I think it's safe to say you might have some, assumptions about us, our personalities, how we run the podcast. And honestly, assumptions videos are a very trending thing right now on YouTube and in the digital space. So we're like, hey, why don't we do one too?
We wanted to open it up to you guys to be able to share with us some observations that you have or things like that, and then we'll talk through them.
All right, so let's get started. The first one is from the Jacob Shakeup. I actually thought y'all would be older. The profile pic looks like it's about passing teacups around. I think the assumption's the second part.
Yeah. They're actually, is it a wine? It's a wine glass.
2 bottles of wine, and then I think 2 of us are holding wine glasses and one is
Yeah.
holding a coffee cup.
Yeah.
So our friend Jeanette Liao, who is also an Asian boss girl, she helped design that for us. So it's like shadows of us 3 around a recording table.
Yeah. And this is inspired because initially when we first started recording the podcast, we needed a little bit of liquid courage, right? So we did drink a little bit of wine, and so we told her about that. So that's why she included the wine in the graphics.
And also, the premise of the podcast was to be kind of like a girl talking session with your friends, right? So having a little bit of wine. You could also do it over tea. So I think that that works too. But part of the assumption, I guess, in terms of thinking we were older, I guess sometimes you could say we are there's the old soul aspect. Like we sometimes talk about Mel being a little bit of a grandma.
Yeah.
Janet's also kind of a grandma.
I'm like a literal grandma.
The Jacob Shakeup, I would say your assumption is false. We are not older. We're not grannies yet. They're wine glasses in the picture.
And a coffee cup. Close though.
Close.
All right, the next one here. Recording ABG takes 1 take. It's a candid conversation between friends with minimum script or outline. And this is from Jasmine Y. Tam. False. To an extent.
Yeah, to an extent. It is candid conversation.
Yeah.
But we also do outline. So we do a little bit of prep, but the where it goes and where it develops and a lot of our commentary does come very naturally.
We try to outline maybe half a page to a full page of things that we want to, because we tend to stray from conversation. So it kind of just helps us keep on topic. But yes, pretty candid. So true.
Yes.
Yeah. And thank you to our editor, Michelle. Shout out. She knows the...
She knows it ain't 1 take.
All right. So their next assumption comes from Irene. You give up sleep to record. I think
That's true.
Wait, really?
I think so. Well, we do meetings at 10:30 at night sometimes. We have had some group recording sessions where we go until in the early morning.
I mean,
it hasn't been
could
as
we be
recent.
sleeping? Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I guess for me, I would say false because that's the time I'd be prepping meals for the next day. I usually still go to sleep at the same time.
But then don't you have to prep meals afterwards?
Yeah,
Then?
it stacks your schedule though.
It does stack my schedule, but I guess for me, it isn't. I don't get rid of sleep. It feeds into my other time, alone time. You know what I mean? That I guess you could say I could be sleeping, but I usually don't.
Well, how did the 8-hour workday start? It was you have 24 hours in a day, cut it into thirds. So 1/3 is for sleep, 1/3 is for personal things, and 1/3 is for work. And that's how the 8-hour workday started. So it's we actually have a lot of 16 hours of doing our own thing. And if 8 is for sleep, the other 8 is for personal things. So that's where ABG falls into place.
Yeah.
So
Doesn't
maybe less
feel that way
personal
sometimes.
time.
I wish I had more hours in the day.
Yeah. So I guess that's we're kind of on the fence with that one, huh?
Yeah, partially true. Partially false.
So our next assumption comes from Sharona321. You have your ups and downs with each other. There's one person that you're closer to in the group.
And I think there are other assumptions here that maybe we can couple together with this one. So Banani X said, you guys never fight with one another. Happy Sunday, girls, from Sydney ABGs. And then some other ones, you all have amazing friendships with one another. You all have a great working relationship with each other. And that's from Jakiha and W. Shea 88.
I mean, okay, here's the thing. I think naturally running like a business, there are going to be ups and downs. We all have different working styles based off our jobs, but they never become like a thing where like we have a fallout, like we're fighting. We never get to that point. There might be some times where like disagreements happen or maybe moments of annoyance because we're just different people, right?
I feel like we go through it very effectively though, where we communicate with each other and we have patience with each other. And we also know that sometimes when something happens, it's like, okay, look, I haven't been sleeping or you've had a hard week. And so I don't feel like it's anything out of the norm. To be real with you all, yes, of course, like anytime you're working with anyone doing anything, there's going to be ups and downs, right? So, but I feel like I'm very proud of us for how we handle it.
Yeah. I feel like we're also super like flexible with one another, right? If we're having a bad week, it's like, okay, let's just try and record maybe this weekend or find another time to do it. And I think we're also good friends outside, you know, and that's how we started this podcast. So the foundation I feel like is very strong between three of us. Yeah. But yeah, there are ups and downs. There are annoyances. We get through them. Or else we probably wouldn't be here.
No, I agree.
Yeah. And I think it's also, we spend a lot of time with the three of us together, but we also get a good amount of time where it's like, I'll hang out with Helen sometimes, I'll hang out with Mel sometimes, you two will hang out sometimes. So it feels like a nice
like blend.
Yeah.
Because I think I was reading down the other assumptions and someone was saying like, there's two assumptions I want to bulk into this. One is, there's one person in ABG that is super controlling, or there's one leader in the group from Vivi Moviv and the virtual Sonia. I actually don't think that's true. I think that's false. All three of us, whether it's moments in a time that one is taking initiative or all three of us are kind of manning our own thing, it feels very equal playing field.
Yeah.
Right? So I don't think there's one extreme leader or one, I guess, follower.
Yeah.
I think if we each didn't contribute, that would probably cause some of these like feelings of annoyance or just anger at one another. But I think we all take equal parts in contributing to this podcast.
Yeah. Agreed.
So lovely.
But there's one thing I do want to say though, because when Karen asked,
here we go.
Sorry, I'm gonna be completely transparent. When Karen asked, there's one person you're closer to. I think people assume that because, like, for example, when people see me hang out with only Helen, they're like, oh, you're probably naturally closer to Helen. But that's actually not true. Like Janet said, there are times when, like, say Helen's out of town, then me and Janet go watch a movie together. And I think sometimes people assume that about us because at first me and Helen were the closer ones because I met her.
You guys have known each other more intimately for a longer period.
Exactly, because we traveled to Asia together. But I think now with the progression of the podcast, it feels like all of us are just really close with each other.
Yeah. All right. The next one here is from Sally Bishop, role models for young Asian American women. I don't know if that's a comment or an assumption.
We hope it's
true.
Assumption.
Next one, y'all are yappies, from Anna Licu.
I think it depends what you define a yappy as.
Yeah.
Generally speaking, I do agree that all three of us are yappies because we
young Asian working professional.
Exactly.
We kind of match the literal definition of it, I guess.
Yep.
And I think also, young Asian working professionals, and also, I guess, part of like a socioeconomic status where you're not too concerned, financially stable, living in the city. All of those assumptions are usually associated with yappies.
Yeah. And actually moves on to our next assumption from Rara Hannah. I'm so sorry. We're
really bad with these names.
Her assumption is y'all never struggled financially or establishing yourself in your careers.
Not
False.
true.
Yeah.
At least for me.
Do you want to talk about it?
Yeah. I've jumped around a lot in my career, and it took me actually a while to figure out that financial stability was an important factor for me, and then B, how to achieve that, or how I defined it, and then how to achieve that. So yeah.
It's false for you. I would say it's also false for me, that assumption, because I think I mentioned in maybe the working episodes, when I first moved to LA, I wasn't making any money. So I wasn't financially stable at all. I literally had to either find a part-time job or had my parents help me. But there's also a period of time where, since I wasn't making enough money, I had to live roommate in a room as an adult. So I had to kind of
share a room
and penny pinch and not go out as much. So I did have to figure out how to juggle my finances when I lived in LA. And that also went hand in hand with finding myself in my career. You know, it was a journey to get to where I am today. So I would say that assumption is false.
I would say for me, half of this is true, half of this is false. Because right after college, I did go straight into finance and I lived at home for 3 years. So there was financial stability, but it took away from the side of exploring as a young 20-year-old, right? So I didn't get to do that. But what I focused more on was just being financially stable. So I would say the first part is probably a little bit true for me because I've been working in finance for so long now. But then in terms of establishing yourselves in your careers, I would say I've definitely struggled with that. And I talk about that in the Gray Zone episode. So you can listen there if you want to hear about those struggles.
And our next assumption is from Chirona321. I assume you three are always social people.
Totally false.
False. I'm a total introvert. I think you two are definitely much more extroverted. Yeah, but then I think we also talked about you kind of grow, like everyone kind of needs their downtime, right?
Yeah.
But I think in the levels of extrovertness, it's going to be Helen's first and then me and then Janet.
Really? I think Mel first and then
Oh,
me.
no. But
really?
You want to go out more than I do. I need more alone time than you.
True. But I think when you're around people, I feel like you're more extroverted.
I actually disagree with you.
Really?
No, when settings where with a lot of people, you're always the ones like, oh my God, hey, and then you're always talking. And I look at Jen, I'm just like, I can't do this.
I
sometimes.
honestly, when I go out with you guys, I'm like, sometimes I'm like super overwhelmed. I'm like, I'm just going to hang out back here.
Wait, so who do you think is more extroverted in group settings?
I feel like you both are in your, I don't know.
In our own different ways.
Yeah.
Maybe? Yeah.
I think I'm more extroverted with groups I'm familiar with. If there's like a new setting, you thrive a lot more.
I see.
Better, Helen. Right?
I see. Because there are times when I'm also just like, okay, Mel's doing most of the like talking to people. I'm like, I'm just gonna chill.
Yeah.
Dang, I haven't
I
felt
guess
that
it
one out.
depends. I never really observed or noticed that.
Do you feel like I have changed in my socialness, like from when you guys first met me?
You like those one-on-one conversations with
Yeah.
people
Yes.
where you have like deeper conversations with people, but you're not like going from one person to the other and
Yeah.
striking up conversation with like quantity versus like I feel like you do more quality.
I agree.
Yeah, and I think that's always been pretty much the same.
Pretty
since I've-
consistent.
Yeah,
Yeah.
pretty consistent. But then in terms of like our meetups, I feel like you do put yourself out there
Yeah.
and talk to a lot of people. So
Yeah.
that's different from when I first met you. Yeah.
That's true. I would say overall, Helen and I are more social than Janet, but we also all have our introverted qualities. There are times where I don't, like, even last night, I didn't want to go out because I was exhausted.
Yeah. But I mean, I guess if it's like, are you all three social people? Like, yeah, we are pretty social.
Yeah.
I suppose.
We can turn it on.
Yeah.
Yep.
The next one here is you all have lots of close friends, and this is from Belle Takes the Workplace.
For me personally, I would say that is correct. I like to stay close with my different friend groups from my different facets of my life. Like, I'm really close to my college roommates still, my best friends from home, my high school friends, you guys. I would say I have a lot of close friends that I trust too. I think I'm a really trusting person, so I open up really quickly to people. So I would say I have a lot of close friends.
I would say that I have maybe like less close friends. I feel like because like moving across country, it's been like a little bit more difficult keeping like the closeness with high school friends, but I do still feel very close to them when I am back on the East Coast. I don't think I'm like as trusting of people. Like I have a wall up in terms of like people getting to really, really know me at that like deeper level. So maybe that's what contributes to. I feel like I have less closer friends, but a good solid group of close friends.
Same. I think, well, I guess somewhere in between maybe the two of you, because I did grow up in like Southern California, and that's where I am now. So when I moved back, I was able to reconnect with a lot of like younger childhood friends and like high school friends and college friends. So I definitely have like maybe 2 handfuls of people that I maintain a relationship with. But it is pretty, I do kind of have a little bit more of a wall. But I think as you get older too, it's like harder to keep some of those close friendships.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, because you have your job, you have like all of the
just competing
obligations.
time.
Yeah.
Okay, so our next one is from Nathan Hahn. Janet sleeps early.
Not real. My sleeping is like all over the place. So sometimes I go to bed early, but I'm actually probably more naturally a night owl. I think Mel probably sleeps the
Yeah, I
earliest
think
out
Mel
of all
sleeps
of
the
us.
earliest.
Yeah.
Yeah. So this one is false.
Oh.
All right, Janet, because you do sleep at 2 o'clock sometimes.
Yeah.
I sleep
you guys get emails from me sometimes. I can't sleep.
because I sleep around like
You're pretty consistent with your bedtime,
12
I think.
or
yeah.
1. Yeah.
Oh man, I sleep at like 2 or 3.
Or sometimes not at all. Helen's like,
I'm a night owl for sure.
all right. Our next assumption from YP Jennifer. I assume you all are very into skincare. Share with us your favorite skincare product. I don't think I'm super into skincare. I mean, at a base level, I feel like I've been raised to really value like putting on lotion and like washing your face, like having a regular routine, but I'm not like very extensive about it.
Yeah.
I don't know. What about you ladies?
I think I'm on the same page as Janet.
You use a bar of soap.
I actually upgraded. I do use like a cleanser. I implemented like the Korean skincare like routine. The 10,
Oh,
the
so
10
you have,
steps.
you're jazzing it up.
Yeah, I have like maybe like 4 steps now. But at the same time, it's like I'm not spending my free time like researching other products I want to buy. I don't really care. Like I care
Yeah.
enough to like upgrade my products, but not that I'm spending a lot of time researching about this stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, same. We actually have an episode for episode 15, Time to Get Skintimate, where we talk about our skincare routines. But yeah, my favorite is probably SK2. I can't tell because it's not like an overnight thing where you're like, oh, this
Over
product
time,
really
yeah.
works. I do use face wash and toner, and then I use essence and lotion, and then also a serum in between the essence and lotion. I don't know if that's the right order, but that's what I typically do.
Yeah.
And then now I'm starting to use sunscreen all the time, every
Yeah.
day.
Yep.
But that's probably within the past like few months that I've started to do that. Yikes.
I'm pretty basic with the oil of Olay for like face lotion with like the SPF 30, Neutrogena for face wash, and then I do like toners. I think toners are really good, like moisture.
Takes off all your makeup too.
Yeah,
all like the
actually.
excess.
I always need to have a moisturizer at all times on my vanity or like in my closet or whatever it's called. I've been using, is it Etude House is moisturizer. It smells so good and it's kind of fluffy. So moisturizer is always something I use. In terms of toner, I've been trying Sun and Park water.
Oh yeah, I use that one too.
It's
That
great.
one's good. Yeah.
I love it. So yeah, that's one of my products I like.
Another question from Diana Kwan. You guys never go without makeup.
False.
I go out with, but go out like out or like to the grocery store.
Whatever you
Okay.
think it is.
During the day, I mean, I've started going to work without makeup sometimes. But if we go out, like a lounge or something like that, then I almost always wear makeup. I feel like, I don't know. What about you, ladies?
I almost always wear makeup. I just feel like I never know what's going to happen or where the
You're always prepared.
Yeah, or like where the day's going to take me, you know? Like if I go to the grocery store and I decide to go hang out with a friend or something, I don't want to feel like I have to like go home, put my face on before like a full day. So I'd rather allow myself to be spontaneous with my day by having my face ready.
Yeah.
If that makes sense.
No, that makes sense. So I actually ran into that issue. I would say this is false for me because I got to a point where every day I go to work, I don't want to wear makeup because it's exhausting. I'd rather sleep in. If I know I have a shoot or something, then I'll wear makeup. And like Helen or like Janet, if we're going out, I would always wear makeup, right? But I ran into this situation last week where I forgot we're filming for work. And like, we're filming today. And I watched it and I was like, what? I don't have my makeup on.
Oh, man.
So part of me was like, fuck it. We shot it without my makeup. And I was like, crap. I definitely felt a little, like not as like confident, to be honest. But I did it anyway. So on the day to day, I don't wear makeup to work. But on the nighttime, I do wear my makeup to work.
Your full lashes.
All of them.
In terms of going to work, I would prefer to wear makeup to work because I do think you look more put together. It's more professional. But then on the weekends, I take a break and then usually I won't. Like to give my skin my eyelashes to stuff too. So
Yeah, so that one is partially true.
All right, next one's from Belle Takes. She said, you guys have dressed up as Charlie's Angels together one Halloween. That is false.
False. Where'd you get that from?
Yeah. I think last year was the first year we attempted to all dress up as the same theme. And Janet and I dressed up as like a bubble bath, like our bathroom product.
Yeah.
So I was like a loofah and she was a bubble bath.
I was bubbles.
You were a tub.
I was a tub. Oh, that's right. That was like, where did we go to get costume materials last
Walmart.
year? At Walmart.
Oh, you got one of those
I
like
found like a styrofoam. What do you call it?
Icebox.
Yeah.
Yeah. Cut out the bottom, stuck herself in it.
But she put
With some
duckies
balloons.
on. Yeah.
It was good. It was really good.
We wanted Helen to join in too, but I think she got pulled for a couple's costume. So she was
I know.
she was a chicken.
No, I was popcorn.
Popcorn.
And then my boyfriend was chicken. So we were popcorn chicken.
That's pretty cute, actually.
All right, the next one here is from Sally Bishop. And she says, most of your circle is Asian. And then Ballerina also said you only hang out with other Asians. True or false, ladies?
I would say majority is true. I think our immediate circle, I think it's also because of the fact that we are very part of the Asian American community. We really care about it, that a lot of our friends are also Asian and Asian American. So I think naturally our circle is Asian. Yeah. Outside of our like immediate group of friends, my work friends are not all Asian.
Yeah, I would say that's probably where my non-Asian friends are from,
Yeah,
which is work. But at the same time, it's like, what's the issue? I don't know. There's no issue with that. You always hear people talking about like, oh, when you go to like a school and you see a bunch of Asian kids sitting at the same cafeteria table, it's like, oh, that's the Asian table. But like, look at every other table. It's like, oh, that's a white table. Do you ever say that? No. So I don't see that as an issue. But for me, yeah, mostly Asians.
Yeah. Well, for me, I think our social group that we go out with, yes, because a lot of us have friends in this circle that share and create content for and care about the Asian American community. In terms of like when I visit like friends from home and friends from college and stuff, I have a mix. I guess the other types of Asians, like Indian friends.
South
I have quite a
Asian,
few, yeah, South Asian friends. But yeah, actually, most of them are kind of like maybe come from like an ethnic background or like they have that shared experience.
Yeah, shared experiences bring a lot of people together. So it makes sense.
It makes sense.
All right, next one here is confidence in dating came easy to y'all. This is from Rare Hannah. She's a rare one. For me, no. Absolutely not. That one, I don't know if you guys remember. I forget which episode it was on, but I talked about
the gum.
I talked about my dating, like my one blind dating experience, and it was so bad. That's the one where I was sweating so much in my car. The sweat that came out was sweat that smelled, and then I didn't have any deodorant on. All I had was chewing gum, so I put that on my armpits. So yeah, I have no confidence when it comes to dating.
I definitely struggled too. I think actually growing up, I was always like a really shy and quiet person. I didn't really start dating until later. So when it came to the topic of like your love life and dating and stuff like that, I was always felt really out of place in my older young adult years, and especially with like dating app culture. When I started going on a lot of like first dates, you kind of naturally develop a sense of confidence in like just knowing how to deal with it, but it did not come easy. And even now when I have breaks and I have not been dating and then I have to go back out, like you kind of, it like feels like awkward again. And
yeah. I think for me it's like I get super nervous before any first date. Like I'm literally shaking. Like just the thought of it right now, I'm getting anxiety. You guys have been there for me before. One of my first dates, my ex-boyfriend, and I was like freaking out. Like I usually had to take a shot or just something to mellow me out. So I wouldn't say I'm confident in dating or dating comes easy to us. I do have to say though, once the date starts and the conversation flows, I feel more comfortable. So I don't know if that's a confidence thing or just like a nervous thing.
Have you ever been on a date where you just don't have good conversation?
No.
Oh. Yeah. Or it's like very apparent that you have different interests.
Yeah.
And then it feels like it's not really.
Have you ever just cut it off? It's like, stop what you're saying. I'm done with this one.
I will like kind of like if it's like a drink, I'll like after one drink and then leave. But actually that's something I struggle with. Usually I'm like, if I've already committed and we scheduled something, I'm just going to have fun and make it an evening. And so I'll find a way to make it interesting, but it's probably better to like just
cut
say,
it off.
Yeah.
Dang.
All right, next one's from Virtual Sonia. She says, you all want kids.
I do. I think we do. You guys?
Yeah.
Please, you guys.
Yeah.
All of us want kids. Yes, you are so correct. Okay.
Assumption valid. The next one comes from My Key Rhythm. Before I followed you all on IG, I assume you all were mature, calm, cool, and collected. Now I know how adorable you all are.
Oh, cool. I guess that's an
that's
assumption when you first started listening, and now you know us a little bit more, and we are all dorks.
Yes.
Apparently.
Assumption valid.
We are not mature, calm, cool, and collected.
Sometimes we are though.
We're both. We can be both.
Yeah. All right, next one. Next one here. You all want to end up with the same things in life. Start a family eventually.
I don't know if not the same things per se.
But in terms of babies?
Oh, in terms of wanting
Family?
to have a family.
I agree. I think all three of us would want a family.
Yeah.
And the next one from Virtual Sonia, you all want to get married.
Valid. Very true.
Yeah.
Very true. The next one here, you guys party hard, like drink a lot, but work hard too. And this one is from Requested to be Anonymous.
So it's like, how do you, I guess we all define partying hard very differently, right?
Yeah.
Because we always have friends that party harder than us.
But we also have friends that party softer than us.
Are we right in the middle?
I will admit that we do go out at least once a weekend, right?
Yeah.
It's been pretty consistent. Yeah. I think compared to the average person, yes, we probably do go out pretty often and pretty hard when we do go out. I think people have commented when they come out with us and drink that we are quite heavy on the what's the right way to say that?
Heavy on the hand? I don't know.
You work hard, play hard.
Yeah,
True. Yeah, I would say that's valid. Okay, next one. I assume you guys are all perfectionists. This is from Angela Wu, 93.
I would say probably we have maybe the way that we were brought up through our culture, there is some perfectionist, like just ways of thinking or values. But I've definitely let go a lot of that as I've gotten older, just, learning about reality and stuff.
Like what, for example? What have you let go of?
I think for one example, like in the workplace, I used to be a big perfectionist with like just any task that I did. And now I feel a lot more in the mindset of like getting something out that's like less than perfect is better than like waiting on something for a really long time and then not getting it out. So, or I think I'm just used to like failing a lot more or like quote unquote not having a perfect outcome a lot more. I don't know. What about you ladies?
I feel like I'm not exactly a perfectionist, but I'm particular about certain things. So not all the work I put out is perfect, but there are some things I like done a certain way, and then I get really picky on those things.
When I was younger, I used to think I probably had like OCD or something. I don't know where it went, but I used to like when we wrote essays, they were still on paper, right? It wasn't typed up. So I would write it on paper, and if I didn't dot my I exactly above the I would have to like erase the dot and then write it over and over and over again. Same for the period, and everything had to be super perfect. I don't know where that came from. Also don't know where it went because now my writing is like chicken scratch. It's so bad. So I don't know. I think I used to be, but like Janet, I think now just kind of letting go of things and not putting too much weight on it. At the same time though, I think for all of us, like we don't aim for mediocre. I think we all aim for some level of perfection, but a reasonable amount.
Yeah.
Yeah. A non-crazy amount. Yeah.
Asians and hearts. You're really outspoken about social issues in your day-to-day lives.
I would probably say this is false for me. I think sometimes I feel like I'm not as educated or have enough knowledge about all the social issues. I don't speak up about it because we actually talk about this a lot in our office. There are times I just sit there quietly to observe and like absorb, and then I kind of just like do my own research on the side.
I would say that was like maybe for me a year ago. I think I was probably in the same boat. And then now what I do is like I try to be very on top of news and social issues and all of that, so I feel more equipped. So someone had mentioned to me before, like, Helen, you're so optimistic. Do you ever get upset about anything? And I think it is like social issues. If anyone is racist or misogynistic, I will get so angry and so triggered by those things. Even thinking about it, I'm like, ugh. But yes for me. Even like yesterday when we were out at a bar, the bouncer, this is just an example, I guess, of like
not a woke security man.
Yeah, I guess this is being outspoken about social issues, right? But it was 2 a.m. and we were all told to leave, and I still had a drink in my hand. And he said to me, this is the head security guy, he said, "Man up, finish your drink." I got so triggered. I was so triggered. And maybe a year ago, I probably would have just been like, oh, that's funny. Like, okay, sure. And like joke around. But I was like, man up? Like, why is it man up?
I don't think he understood that he was being offensive.
Yeah.
And he was just trying to kind of like showcase that he's in a greater position of power and like try to get you to finish your drink. But I'm like, I don't think you understand you're using a word that's very socially insensitive.
Like, do you want me to drop my dick in front of you? I don't man. I think it's important to start speaking up more about social issues.
I think for me, I'm probably more similar with Mel in that it's not something that is of like a deep interest to me where I'm going to be bringing the issues up like without being prompted. But if I'm like having a conversation with people and something comes up like and I have an opinion about it or I feel offended, generally I would try to like in a diplomatic way kind of express an opinion.
You do. And you do that a lot, especially even with our like friends too. I feel like you get into deeper conversations about things because you have a certain stance on issues.
I do want to add though, when it comes to like social issues like identity or Asian American like representation, that's when we would actually, all three of us would say something.
We all have a perspective on it.
Yeah.
And I think there's certain social issues that we're passionate about. For Helen, it's like misogyny or racism. And then for Mel, it's like Asian American culture. Those issues that we will be, but we're not kind of like super plugged into every social issue that's happening.
I agree. And that's us just being completely honest. We're definitely educating ourselves on a day-to-day basis so that we can be more woke on topics that spread across all spectrums of society.
So our next one is from Virtual Sonia. She said, you all like clothes and makeup.
I would say to some degree, like I think we all have fun with fashion and with makeup.
Yeah, I would agree. I would say that assumption is correct. But I'm not obsessed with makeup though.
Yeah.
Like makeup's something for me. I'm not like, oh my God, Sephora launched something with Kylie Jenner. I don't really care about that.
Yeah. I think for me, I just want to figure out what looks good and then just keep it at that. I'm like, okay, I'm good. I'm happy with my face right now. For clothing, I used to like shopping a lot more. I hate shopping now.
It's tiring.
I hate going to a mall, parking, and then potentially not coming out with anything. Like that triggers me.
I definitely go through periods or like phases. Sometimes I'm like very like functional about my clothing, and then that's like I don't want to shop and I just want to have my core pieces and not think about it. And then other times I feel like I do think clothes are a really fun way to express yourself. And then I will take the time to like go and like drive to a mall and like stand through like the crowded stores and all of that. Yeah, so I guess we're like moderate.
Yeah, I realize that the only time I go shopping now is when I'm going on like a trip. And I'm like, oh, I want to look cute for this trip. So I'm going to go and search for something.
Yeah. Or an event we're scrambling to find clothes for.
Yeah.
Or when Mel's shopping for us. She's done that.
Yeah. I don't mind shopping for you guys. I really enjoyed it.
You have a good eye for things. Yeah.
I try.
The next one here, Mel is panicky like me. This is from Diana Kwong.
Aw.
I want you two to answer this one.
Panicky? I would say that you have more anxiety than the both of us. Panicky though, you have like a lot of passion towards things that you do. So I think your emotions come out more when something doesn't go right. So true.
Panicky. Yeah, that's, I would say if it's like, if you've had a really rough week and there's like a bunch of stuff happening, you might, but it doesn't come off as panicky, I think, so much as just like maybe you'll be more anxious.
Anxious.
Like,
anxious.
That's a good word.
Yeah, that's a good word. How about you, Mel? What do you think?
I would agree. Like, definitely am more anxious because people tell me like, Mel, calm down. Like, don't fucking tell me to calm down. Like, I do.
Oh yeah, that triggers you.
I hate when people.
That is my trigger word.
Yeah.
But I also think it's because I talk really fast. So people are like, okay, Mel, you're very like panicky right now. I'm like, oh, that's just how I talk sometimes.
You're like, I'm not in a mode of panic.
But but you guys are both really accurate. I do think when things don't go the way I expected, I do tend to be a little bit more like anxious and kind of like high strung. So I agree.
Good assumption.
So Virtual Sonia is assuming that we all want to marry Asian guys only. Do you think this is a valid assumption?
I mean, I'm close enough in my relationship to say yes.
I would also agree, probably. I actually really want to marry an Asian guy. Well, I listened to a podcast and it's about this Asian girl, how she should explore different like people outside of her culture or whatever. And so I kind of want to do that too. But honestly, one thing I'm learning about myself recently is that I care a lot about the Asian American community. And the reason why I've always dated Asian guys because I felt they understood me in a level where I didn't have to explain anything, right? And I feel like that's something I really value and I really like. After realizing that, I do want to marry an Asian guy because of that quality. And so I just want someone to be aligned with my values and my beliefs and just my cultural upbringing. So yeah, I do want to marry an Asian guy. And Asian men are hot.
And I would say for myself, like similar to Mel in terms of valuing the culture, like that is something I am looking for, but I'm also not exclusive to that. So I'm open to marrying someone of a different cultural background, but it is a definite plus if someone shares my cultural background.
I mean, yeah, and it's not like you're avoiding a whole group of like different races or anything like that. It's literally more like our parents can speak to them easier if they speak Chinese, if all of so many different things leads to this, you know, dating Asian men only.
Yeah. There's this thing that I realized. So I was joking with a friend, and you know, some girls say "talk dirty to me," right? Like as a sexual or like a flirty thing. I go like, "talk Mandarin to me," or like I just I don't know why. It just kind of like I think it's really cute because I speak Mandarin, like conversational with my family. There's something cute when I could speak Chinese with someone. I think it's kind of fun.
Does it feel, because it feels like it's like almost not a secret language, but if you're not able to speak it normally and share it with someone, then it feels special.
It does. I think that's what it is. It feels kind of like a tingly feeling. That sounds tingly. Wait, it's nice.
If you want to email a tingly feeling, just leave us a Mandarin to her.
Leave us a voicemail and just speak Mandarin to Mel, please.
Gosh. All right, so the next one is from Ballerina again. She said, Janet is super zen.
When I first read that, I thought it said AZN. It's like, Janet is very AZN. What do you think, Janet? I think Janet's very zen.
Yeah.
She is super zen. I love her zenness.
Me too. I was waiting to hear what you ladies would say. I guess generally I am pretty zen, but sometimes it's like I'll present like I'm zen on the outside when I'm like crazy stressed out on the inside.
She's very good at controlling her emotions, and I feel like that's when you present yourself zenly. But you're saying like maybe in your head it's like I'm like non-zen at all.
Yeah, I'm like I have not slept.
Because I think me and Helen are very like wow, we're a little crazy sometimes.
Speak for yourself.
Excuse me. No, but Janet's always like been the one. I feel like she's like our rock.
Yeah.
Oh,
they're very sturdy and stable, and like you're very.
I'm a zen rock, guys.
Yeah.
Wow.
Start selling that.
I want to poke you. All right, next one here is from Comical Chronicles. I assume that none of you follow a religion. Not judging, by the way.
That's a pretty good assumption. I'd say that's pretty accurate. Yeah.
I grew up in a non-religious household, so I would say I'm agnostic. I feel like I believe in something, and that's the definition of agnostic. Believe in something, but not sure what it is, but open to searching for what it is.
I'm on the same page with Helen. Like my family, we weren't really religious growing up, but my mom is very open-minded where I did go to like vacation Bible study at the VBS, and I also did like Buddhist school. So my mom just was open for me to learn about different religions. And when we did go back to Taiwan, we did a traditional like burning of the papers and things like that to like, I guess.
To some spiritual, same with my parents.
Yeah.
They're
very
very
ancestors.
spiritual ancestry, or like there's also these like figurines that my mom puts around the household. So I don't know if that's like specifically a religion that we practice, but it's like a belief in something greater.
Yep.
Yeah. Same with you ladies. I considered myself agnostic for a really long time. My family didn't really have a religion. My grandma did become very much into Christianity and attending church when she was older. I think it was more for like the community aspect. I believe in the importance of spirituality, and just I don't ascribe by any particular religion.
Zen.
So our next question comes from Jessica X. Lee. Helen has a perfect relationship.
With what?
Yeah, that's a good relationship with
my iced coffee I'm drinking right now. Yes. Oh, how about you guys answer that one for me?
Okay. I think we're going to assume you're talking about her like romantic relationship. Yeah. And I think through the podcast, we learned that, you know, all relationships aren't perfect. And like everyone else, Helen and her boyfriend also had their ups and downs. But you need those moments to really get to a moment of like solidness, right? I think right now you and your boyfriend are finally reached a place where, you know, you guys understand each other more, but you had to get to that place by going through the ups and downs, right?
Mm-hmm. Very true.
So I feel like you guys have arrived at a very good, perfect-like state, but not without ups and downs. So the relationship isn't perfect, as no relationship is, but the current state is feeling pretty.
Wow, pretty good. Yeah, no, I would say that we've been together for a couple of years now, and the first 2 or so years was like very tumultuous, because I think we're at a point where we just wanted each other to be like the perfect version of our significant others for each other. Because when you're in your late 20s or so, you want the person that you're dating to be the person that you marry, right? So there's a lot of like projecting little things things and why do you do it this way? So one thing that I've told the ladies before that he gets mad at me about is when I like put something down on a surface and it's not level, as in I'll stack half of it on top of something else that's on the table, and he got like so upset at that stuff. But I don't know why I do it. I don't do it intentionally. But I think now we've gotten to a point where we laugh about those like little things that used to annoy each other, because we've decided to like choose one another and the relationship that we have rather than focusing on all these little things. Obviously, a lot of things still pop up here and there. So I think it's a good relationship. Perfect? I don't know what perfect is. So it's a good one. Yeah.
Safanza says, you take on the hostess roles at parties. I would say that's yes for Helen. A very clear picture comes into my mind is when we were in New York and our friend Andrew was like kind of hosting us and had like this potluck. Helen naturally took on that role, got a bunch of cups, got a bottle, and started pouring everyone shots and like was talking to everyone. And like as she was pouring, she was like getting to know everyone. So I feel naturally you like to make sure everyone's taken care of and having a good time.
Yeah, I guess so. It's weird when you mention it like that, or like you for sure are, because I'm not forcing it, right? Like it just is, I don't know. And maybe that's like one of those things where I like for other people to have a good time. And then also having been on this podcast and talking so much about myself now, I realize like I don't like to impose my own things onto other people. It's like I want other people to have a good time. And maybe that goes into like the whole hosting thing and making sure people are having fun.
What do you think about us though? Like, I think it depends on where we're like hosting an event. For example, if we're meeting at Janet is a good host. She's like, hey guys, I bought this, and like if you let me know if you need anything.
I'm
like
a bad host.
Really?
I mean, I think I'm a good host in that like I'm open to having people over and stuff, but I'm like, the waters are there, you can get it yourself. Maybe that's just because we're all comfortable now.
Yeah.
I know, I feel like you are a really good host. You'll be like, I have wine, I have whatever, and you're like, you know, when we have one of those nights when it's not like recording.
That's true. When there's like other people coming over, I'll try to kind of.
You'll go to Trader Joe's, you'll like get food and all of that stuff. I think we're all good hosts.
Yeah. And Mel's hosted at your place a couple of times, like when we do pre-parties and stuff, and you're always very accommodating.
So it just depends on who's hosting where, right? If it's at Helen's, if it's Janet's or at mine, we're pretty good.
Yeah.
I will tell people also get the water from the fridge yourself. Though, so I don't know. I don't know what constitutes a good host.
That's true. Wait, want me to like, I'm going to the springs to like get a pail and get you some water?
Nah, press the button. So next one here is from Jessica Exley. I assume you guys were very timid about discussing sex, like most Asians, but you are not.
I think that depends on your opinion, because I feel like, in my personal opinion, I think I am very open to talk about sex, but at the same time, there's also a level of, I don't want to reveal too much because I want to have my privacy still. So some could say, yes, we are open. Others can say, no, we don't talk about it enough, right?
I do think that when we first started off this podcast and like, we didn't really know the audience that we would be reaching, we would have been much more open to talking about it. But I think now, like for me personally, I don't know if I want to go into like the gory details, even though maybe we should, right? Like why not just talk about it? But you guys are listening out there.
Yeah. I think it's also weird because I feel like with you, they already know who it is.
Yeah. Or like people at work.
Yeah, that's weird.
So darn, we should have had another episode earlier on in the seasons.
In theory, I feel like I was really open to talking about it, but then when we started like actually drafting out episode topics and stuff, and then maybe even starting to like touch on those topics, sometimes it's like you get in front of the mic and you're like, oh wow, actually, do I really want to share this?
Queef.
But maybe I think in the future episodes, that is a topic I think would push us a bit, and I think is good to talk about for young Asian American women. So. Yeah. Look out for future episodes.
And give us topic suggestions so we feel like we're answering questions for you instead of like
just talking about sex.
Divulging all our secretive sex stuff.
Well, would you guys say that even amongst us three, like outside of the podcast, we don't really talk about the details of sex?
Well, because you know my boyfriend, and so whenever I talk about intimacy, Mel's always like, ew, 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 that's like my brother.
No, it's true. It's like that's true. I mean, that's why. But even with Janet, like we don't talk about it.
I haven't been having sex. I'll talk about it when it starts happening.
We should have an episode on that when Janet starts.
I'm
like
down.
Every little detail.
Are we scaring away any men that would want to date me now?
No, they're flocking. They're flocking over. All right, and so our final assumption for this episode is from L and Dish.
L and Dish.
L and Ish.
Okay. Assumption is you guys will start a YouTube channel to post the podcast.
Ooh. good question. Or assumption? Yeah. Yeah. I mean, we are thinking about it. So we are constantly thinking about how to grow this podcast. We've been going for 2 years now. We've done a lot of speaking events and we've done a lot of meetups. And we're trying to think about, what is the next step of like expanding our company and growing our company. One way is to go video because we are all together. We are recording on a podcast. A lot of people, actually, a lot of YouTubers, they have podcasts that are also video format and they're just sitting there talking. And so even now when I look around, like y'all look good right now too. So it's like, why not just have a video on us? So yeah, why not?
It's because it's the weekend. We have our makeup on.
It was like it'd be 10 p.m. But yeah, no, it's something we're aiming towards. But logistically, it's also a challenge because we all work full-time jobs. So figuring out how to make that happen consistently, because we don't want to just put like one video up. We'd want to have continuous videos up. But it's something we're aiming towards.
So stay connected.
Yeah, and maybe not just the recordings too. Like Mel, I know you had ideas about like our day-to-day or vlogs. And a lot of people ask us about makeup tutorials and face products and stuff like that. So maybe that could be one of them.
I know. It's kind of crazy to think that we'll be expanding to video because we just, right now it's still like a podcast. It's just audio format. But I mean, if you guys want us to do video, please let us know. Email us, DM us, and let us know what kind of video you guys want us to do besides just recording our podcast at asianbossgirl@gmail.com.
I feel like we're going to be really bad on video.
Exactly.
This episode is brought to you by Skillshare. One thing we're really big on here at ABG is leveling up. What helps us to be strong, intelligent women is continuously learning new skills, which allows us to thrive. Skillshare is an online learning community with thousands of classes for creators, entrepreneurs, and curious people everywhere.
As someone who now works full-time in media, I need to be on top of moving social trends and deliver as a leader. With Skillshare's social strategy and leadership classes like Modern Leadership, I'm able to stay ahead of the curve. Skillshare has an incredible range of classes, and it feels good knowing I have a one-stop shop to grow into the woman I want to be.
Join the millions of students already learning on Skillshare today with a special offer just for ABG listeners, 2 months free. That's right, Skillshare is offering Asian Boss Girl listeners 2 months of unlimited access to thousands of classes for free. To sign up, go to Skillshare.com/ABG. Again, that's Skillshare.com/ABG to start your 2 months now. Skillshare.com/ABG.
All right, so now we're going to jump into our Dear ABG section. So for those of you who don't know, we do have a Google voicemail, so you can leave us a voicemail at 213-262-8776. That's 213-262-8776. You can leave any questions, comments, whatever it is. We go through each of them and we'll select a couple that we'll feature on our episodes in these Dear ABG sections. We don't have like a Dear ABG, I don't know.
We might have a potential jingle upcoming next season.
Actually, Mel, go, jingle.
Jingle bells, jingle bells. I don't know.
Okay, and here's our first voicemail.
How can I meet and create long-lasting female relationships? I've always been a tomboy, and it's been difficult to connect with other women. I used to not want to have, female relationships in my life, but as I'm growing older, and I'm 26 now, I'm yearning for that kind of energy where I feel like I can be completely just me in front of other women without being judged. Basically, I'm looking for my ride or die similar to the relationship the three of you ABGs have. Thanks so much. Have a great day.
All right. Thank you so much for sharing that voicemail. This listener is anonymous. So I guess for me, honestly, I have a lot of close friends that are tomboys. That doesn't stop me from being close friends with them because for me, I don't connect with them on that level. It's more like it's much a deeper level than that. We just connect more as friends and just struggles that we're going through as individuals. So I think my advice to you is don't let that be a reason to prevent you to build these strong friendships with other women, If anything, personally for me, I'm not looking at that at all. I'm looking at, do we vibe together? Do we like hanging out together? Do we have fun when we go out? I wouldn't let that stop you because I feel like when you fixate on something like that, it's gonna what is that word when it's
self-fulfilling prophecy a little bit?
Yeah, exactly. Because I think if you fixate on that, you're kind of preventing yourself from making new friends, right?
Yeah. Say you have particular interests that you consider, when you say you're a tomboy, what do you think that means, right? And if you're trying to make friends who are women and have other activities or hobbies that are similar to yours, go out to those classes or to those groups, and then maybe you'll meet someone with shared interests.
Hi, ABG. I love your podcast so much. I was wondering if there's a boy that seems just like absolutely perfect, but you guys are long distance and you guys are flourishing fairly well long distance. How would you continue the relationship to make sure that it still is maintained and is still strong? We visit each other about like once or twice every month. So other than that, is there anything else that we can do besides daily phone calls? I just wanted to ask, and I, again, want to emphasize how much I love you guys. And I hope to come to Bofo Mofo Cafe one of these days. Okay, bye.
I think Helen has really good advice on this. When she was in Spain, she was long distance with her boyfriend. So Helen, what did you and your boyfriend do?
Yeah, we were long distance for about 3 months, so it didn't really feel like a long distance relationship because we knew there would be an end to that timing. But some things that we did to help with the distance, we would have daily phone calls, we would FaceTime, but the timing was always off because my bedtime would be basically his crack of dawn. Yeah, it was the complete opposite schedule. So we would text each other when it was convenient, but we realized these short, somewhat surface level interactions weren't enough. It felt almost transactional, right? So one thing that we ended up doing was email. The difference with email is that it's almost like writing a diary entry about your day. You divulge a lot more information than you would through text message and 5 to 10 minute phone conversations. And also now we go back and look at all our emails. It's nice. It's like writing a little love letter to each other. Finding time to sit down and write it out is much more meaningful. The emails really helped us out a lot.
That's a really good tip. It's like a modern day love letter, which is really sweet. I think another thing I would add is, I don't know if you guys do this, but even just FaceTiming, it just means so much more than to see someone's face versus like you're on a call. So now when I talk to even my friends who live in like in New York or in a different country, I will always ask to FaceTime instead of just calling. Because just that one like level of like face-to-face interaction is so important to me.
Yeah. You see facial like reactions and stuff. So yeah, it's definitely, it's like texting, I feel like is level 1. It's hard to like get a good sense. But then if you do a phone call, then you can hear each other's voice. And then the next level up is like FaceTime. So you could actually visually see each other.
So with that said, we're going to wrap up this episode. Thank you so much for sending across your assumptions, submitting your questions and comments through our Dear ABG voicemail system, and also for being with us this whole season.
I know. So much has happened during season 4. I think out of all the seasons, I'm really the most proud of is season 4. I feel like we connect a lot with our listeners, with our topics, and we went to SF this year. We went to Toronto in season 4. Isn't that crazy?
Yeah, and I feel like the 3 of us are more energized than ever looking forward. We're so excited for season 5. We already have some episodes lined up that we want to record, and thinking of other ways to extend. Like Mel said, we went to Toronto, we went to SF, we held a meetup in, was LA?
The meetup for LA was this past year, because when I got back from Spain, which was last year around this time, was when we actually went to New York and then LA.
That's crazy. The main thing we're saying is that we were really fortunate enough to actually meet listeners face to face this season. And like Janet said, we're so energized and we just want to take ABG to the next level. And we're going to spend this time off to really think about how we can, I guess, provide more better and value content for you guys.
Also during this off season, we want to connect with you and meet you in person. So if you work at a corporation or are part of a school organization, we went out to speak at Verizon Media. We've been at a few colleges now. If you're part of a group that wants to bring us out, let us know. We'd love to see you. You can email us at asianbossgirl@gmail.com.
Yes, and we are going to be actively doing other things during our time off. So please stay connected with us on social, on IG at Asian Boss Girl.
And as always, please subscribe and we'll just pop up in your feed. We are on iTunes, Spotify, Overcast, Google Play, all of the platforms. It's ABG-Asian Boss Girl. And if you are just joining us brand new or you've missed a couple of episodes, we have 46 total for you all to listen to. So find us on iTunes, Spotify, Overcast, Google Play, all of the platforms. We are ABG-Asian Boss Girl. Hit that subscribe button, and when next season starts, we'll just pop up in your feed.
Thanks everyone for staying with us, and we'll see you next season.
Bye!